The distress call was answered, and that was the first thing that frightened the Sutheen observer. No one answered a Class 9 beacon. It was the call you sent when your fleet was already ash, the one designed to be heard for 10,000 years by no one. Vekkis Tahl watched the readout from the hull of the broken science cruiser and counted the seconds since the burst went out. 11 hours. Then a fold opened in empty space, and something came through it that was not a Rescue. 6 Dreadnoughts. Human-built. They did not hail. They did not slow. They came in formation so tight it looked like a single wall of dark metal, and Vekkis felt the cruiser's hull resonate before the ships were even close. A low pressure in the deck plates like a held breath. He had not sent the call. His captain had, against doctrine, in the last hour before the Threshers boarded them. The Sutheen did not call Deathworlders. You did not invite the thing in the dark to your dying. Everyone knew the humans came when they smelled weakness, the way scavengers came, and took what survivors remained. Vekkis had been taught this, the way he had been taught to breathe. A human boarding pod struck the cruiser's flank. Not a breach charge. A door. It cut clean, sealed itself, and a single human came through in worn pressure gear, helmet scarred, moving like someone who had done this before and hated it. She did not raise a weapon. She raised a light. How many left alive? Her translator was old, the syntax blunt. Fast, they come back at the dark turn. Vekkis did not answer. He was watching her hands. They were shaking. A predator's hands did not shake. Her name, the translator offered, was Edda Roanu, and she was not a soldier. She was a recovery specialist, which the Sutheen had no word for, because the Sutheen abandoned their wrecked. The dead were a weight. You cut the weight, or it pulled you under. This was the law that had kept them alive for 40,000 years. She moved through the cruiser fast, marking survivors, and Vekkis followed because the alternative was the Threshers. He noticed she favored her left side, that she flinched from open corridors, that she counted under her breath and never reached 0 before starting again. He thought it was fear. He understood fear. Then the first plan failed. She led 9 survivors to her pod, and the pod was gone torn free by a Thresher harvesting line in the dark, the cable still scarring the hull where it had ripped away. Edda stood in the empty bay, and her breathing changed, went short and high, and for a moment she did not move at all. Vekkis saw it then, not fear of dying, fear of leaving someone. Her advantage and her wound were the same thing. She could not stop counting the living, and it was about to get them all killed. "We go up," she said. To the wall the Dreadnoughts had not fired. That was the second wrongness. 6 warships from a death world, holding over a corpse, doing nothing. The Sutheen story said the humans came to feed. These ships were waiting. She got them to the upper hull as the dark turn came, and the Threshers returned long, pale machines that did not hunt by sight, but by the pulse of living movement, drawn to panic, to the fast heartbeat. The first survivor who ran was taken in seconds. Edda grabbed the second, pulled him flat against the plating, pressed her shaking hand to his chest, and held him still. Held the count steady. The Thresher passed over them, reading no spike, and moved on. That was when Vekkis understood what the humans were for. The Dreadnoughts had not fired, because firing meant motion, and motion meant the wreck became a beacon for every Thresher in the field. The humans were not here to fight the harvesters. You did not fight them. You went still beneath them. And the only species in the dark that knew how to make a panicking crowd go still to walk into a dying ship and hold frightened strangers calm by hand, one heartbeat at a time, was the one everyone called Monster. They had not answered the SOS to save the fleet. The fleet was gone. They had answered to recover the survivors the Sutheen themselves would have written off. Edda got them to the open hull. The Dreadnought's recovery line came down, a single cable across the void, and she clipped the survivors to it one at a time. Counting, her hands worse now, her breath fogging fast inside the helmet. 11, 12, the Threshers were turning back, drawn by something by her, Vekkis realized, by the spike of a human heart pushed past its limit. Doing this, she sent the last Sutheen up. Then she stood alone on the hull, the count finally reaching the number that had haunted her, and Vekkis saw the old scar of it leave her face. She did not clip herself to the line. There was one more survivor in the breached lower deck, too deep to reach in time, and a recovery specialist did not stop counting until the count was true. "Tell them," her translator said. "Slow now, the rhythm changed. We came." She went back down into the dark for the one she could not yet see. The Dreadnoughts held station over the wreck, silent, motionless, not feeding guarding. Vekkis Tahl stood in their bay among the saved and did the thing no Sutheen had ever been built to do. He did not cut the weight. He turned back toward the corpse ship and waited for the one human still inside it, and he kept her count for her, out loud, the way she had taught him, without a single word dot below them. In a dead fleet that had sent the one call you send when no one is coming, the Deathworlders' wall held the dark open. And somewhere in the broken hull, a light moved deeper, still counting.